You're not even fit to shine her shoes." My mother Susan's voice cut through the clinking of wine glasses. My father Richard didn't defend me. He nodded. And my sister Chloe smiled like she'd finally won. The table froze. The air, thick with quiet humiliation. I'd spent years swallowing their favoritism, paying their bills, and pretending it didn't hurt. Leave a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. But after that dinner, after that humiliation, something inside me didn't just break. It hardened. My hands stopped shaking. My voice didn't. 6 words slipped out, calm and sharp as glass. "Then ask Chloe to pay your bills." The silence that followed wasn't the end of dinner. It was the beginning of their downfall. Every candle flame on the table seemed to tremble, as if even the light was afraid to move. My mother's jaw tightened. My father's eyes darted toward the stack of mail on the counter. And Chloe's perfect, practiced smile wavered for the first time. I didn't stay for dessert. That night, I didn't go to my bedroom and cry. I'm a senior software engineer. I don't cry, I audit. I went to my home office, the one I paid for, and opened my laptop. The first thing I did was open my bank's dashboard. I scrolled down to the automatic payments. There it was, a monthly transfer labeled Family Support Mortgage. $2,500. Every month, for 3 years, I stared at the number. My finger hovered over the link. It was just 2 words, cancel payment. I thought about my mother's words, not fit to shine her shoes. I clicked. A small pop-up appeared. Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring payment? I clicked confirm. The line item on my screen turned gray, inactive. But I wasn't done. I was just getting started. I opened a different dashboard. This one was for the private cloud server I managed. It was the digital foundation of Chloe's entire life, her influencer career, her polished website, her professional brand, every high-resolution photo she'd ever posted. It all lived on a server infrastructure that I built, and I paid for. They all thought my job was just some boring, invisible back-end work. They never understood that the back-end holds everything up. I found Chloe's user profile. I found my mother's. I found my father's. All of them had admin privileges. My finger moved to the next button, revoke admin access. I clicked it 3 times. I didn't delete their accounts. That would be messy. I just changed their role from admin to guest. They could still log in. They just couldn't change anything, upload anything, or access any of the high-level files. The key to their kingdom was gone. I leaned back in my chair. The house was silent. But in my head, the gears were turning. I opened a new file, a blank spreadsheet. I named it Family Ledger, XLSX. It was time to run the numbers. This was the role I was always assigned. I'm 29. I'm a senior back-end engineer at a tech firm here in Austin. My job is to live in the war room, to fix critical server architecture at 3 a.m. so that millions of people can seamlessly order food or stream movies. My work is invisible, stressful, but absolutely essential. When I do my job right, no one ever knows I exist. My sister Chloe is 27. She's a brand manager and lifestyle influencer. Her job is to be seen. Everything about her is polished, curated, and, as I was beginning to understand, heavily subsidized. This isn't new. This is just the latest version of a script we've been running for decades. I remember her graduation trip to Bali. She posted a photo holding a coconut, smiling at the sunset, with the caption, living my best life. Thanks to my amazing family, I was the family member who paid for the ticket. I remember the professional camera she needed to launch her brand. It's an investment. Maya, she'd said. That investment came from my Christmas bonus. I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the scapegoat. Chloe was the bright one, the promising one, the golden child. I see it clearly now. It was never just simple favoritism. It's a toxic family system. In this system, my parents needed a golden child, like Chloe, to be their shiny projection of success. Her victories were their victories. Her curated, Instagrammable life made them feel like they'd succeeded. But that illusion is expensive. So, they needed a scapegoat. Me. The scapegoat's job is to carry all the real-world burdens, the debt, the anxiety, the actual work, so the golden child can remain perfect and unblemished. My role wasn't to be celebrated, it was to be the silent, load-bearing pillar that held up the stage they were all performing on, and I played that part perfectly. For the last 3 years, I've been sending them money, not small amounts, serious money. I looked at the total in my spreadsheet, $75,000. I sent it because my father, Richard, had called me in a panic, telling me the bank was threatening foreclosure, that they were on the verge of losing the house. Just help us stabilize things. Maya, he had said, his voice thick with fake shame. You're the only one responsible enough to help class. We're counting on you. So I did. I cut back on my own investments. I postponed upgrading my car. I sent the money every single month, believing I was saving my family home, believing I was the foundation. But as I sat there, staring at the grayed-out canceled payment, a cold, sick feeling washed over me. If I was the foundation, what had they been building on top of me? It took 4 days of heavy, ringing silence. I went to work, I coded, I pushed updates to the server, and I waited. The first call came on the 5th morning. My mother, Susan, her voice on the voicemail was sickly sweet, a tone she only used when she wanted something. Maya, sweetie, I think there's been some kind of mistake. The mortgage payment didn't go through. The bank sent us a very alarming letter. Can you just handle it? Please, handle it. Not are you okay, not did we go too far. Just handle it. I deleted the message. A few hours later, my phone rang again. This time it was my father, Richard. I let it go to voicemail. No sweetness this time. Just a low, guttural growl. I don't know what game you're playing, Maya, but you're making us look irresponsible. You stop this nonsense and you fix it. Now, you can't just stop. I listened to the message, my hand steady. He wasn't just angry that the payment failed. He was angry that I'd broken the rules of the system, that the scapegoat had walked off the job. I blocked his number. Then came the text. From Chloe. The notification lit up my screen. Hey, you're making Mom freak out. She's a mess. Can you just handle whatever is going on? I'm really stressed with this upcoming brand trip. And I don't have the bandwidth for all this drama right now. Her stress. Her bandwidth. Hair drama. I almost laughed. I'd just come off a 72-hour crunch to fix a critical data breach, running on nothing but stale coffee and adrenaline. But she was stressed about a brand trip. I stared at the text. This entitlement, this complete, blinding inability to see anyone else's reality, this was what I had been financing. I didn't reply. The silence that followed my silence was even heavier. They were waiting for me to cave. Like I always did. They were waiting for the "I'm sorry, I'll fix it" text. It never came. And when they realized it wouldn't, the final escalation arrived. My mother, Susan, took her campaign public. A friend sent me a screenshot, a new post on my mother's Facebook page. It was a picture of her and Chloe, arms around each other, smiling brightly. The caption read, "It's so sad when children forget all the sacrifices their parents made for them. You raise them, you give them everything, and they just turn their backs? Thank goodness I still have one daughter who understands the meaning of family." It had over 50 likes, and that's when I knew they weren't sorry. They weren't even guilty. They were just angry that the ATM had been shut off. I saved the screenshot. I put it in a new folder on my desktop, the same folder where I'd saved the family, ledger, XLXX file. The guilt I was afraid of feeling, it never arrived. All I felt was a cold, clear calm, and I knew exactly what I had to do next. That Facebook post, that one hit. It was a cheap shot, and I knew it. But it was effective. For a moment, that familiar, heavy cloak of guilt settled back onto my shoulders. The one they'd trained me to wear my entire life. Did I go too far? Am I the monster here? The familiar what-ifs started circling in my head. What if I'm destroying them over a misunderstanding? What if I'm the one who's ungrateful? I was walking through the office, lost in this fog of doubt, and I must have looked like I'd seen a ghost. I grabbed a cup of stale coffee from the break room and just stood there, staring at the fluorescent light, buzzing overhead. "You look like your code just hit a catastrophic memory leak." I turned. It was Linda, my project director. Linda is in her 50s, sharp, and has a kind of no-nonsense energy that I've always respected. She doesn't just manage projects, she sees everything. She looked at me, then at the coffee cup in my shaking hand. "This isn't about the server, is it?" And for some reason, I just broke. I told her, not everything, but enough. About the dinner, the money, the Facebook post, and the part that was eating me alive. I cut them off. "Linda," I whispered. I turned off the money. And I think I'm a terrible person for it. Linda didn't coddle me. She never does. She just listened, her gaze never wavering. When I was finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Maya, I'm going to tell you something you need to hear. They are not punishing you because you failed. They are punishing you because you are competent." I just stared at her. She leaned against the counter. "Your entire life, you've been the one who can handle it. You're the one who fixes things. The problem is, your competence didn't make them proud. It made them complacent. Your ability to handle problems just became their excuse to give you more problems to handle." She pointed a finger at me, not in anger, but for emphasis. "That's not family, Maya. That's exploitation of a resource. And the moment the resource says no, the exploiters call it betrayal." That Facebook post isn't about her sacrifices. It's an angry email to a vendor who stopped providing free services. The words hit me like a jolt of electricity. She was right. I wasn't the bad daughter. I was the broken ATM. "You feel guilty," she said, her voice softening just a little. "Because you've been trained to feel guilty. That's the first tool they use to keep the system running." I took a deep breath. The fog in my head was gone. It was replaced by a cold, sharp clarity. "So what do?" I asked. Linda smiled. but it didn't reach her eyes. You're a back-end engineer. You know what to do. This isn't a family drama anymore. It's a financial dispute. And in a dispute, you don't rely on feelings. You rely on data. She tapped her temple. Go home. Stop feeling. Start auditing. Follow the data. Find out where every single one of your $75,000 really went. Linda's advice cut through my guilt like a query terminating a bad process. Follow the data. She was right. I'm an engineer. I live in a world of logic. I went home, sat down at my terminal, and I stopped thinking like a daughter. I started thinking like a forensic auditor. The first step was easy. The public record was clear the house was still listed in notice of default. My $75,000 had never gone to the mortgage. A wave of nausea hit me. So where did it go? My mind raced. I logged into the old family email account I had set up for my father years ago. I went straight to the search bar. I didn't search for mortgage. I searched for Chloe and $75,000. One email popped up, a wire transfer confirmation. My vision tunneled. It was a single transfer, $75,000. Not to a bank. It was a down payment on a luxury high-rise condo in downtown Austin. In Chloe's name, they had taken my money, the money I'd earned working late-night emergencies, to buy my sister a lifestyle. But that wasn't the worst part. At the bottom of the confirmation was an email chain. I clicked to expand it. It was an email from Chloe to our father. Her words, right there in black and white, Dad. I checked the wire confirmation. It's from Maya's personal account. Is this okay? My breath caught. She knew. And then, my father's reply, don't worry about it. It's a family investment. Your sister would want you to be secure. She can handle it. She knew the money was mine. And she took it anyway. This wasn't favoritism. It was fraud. I sat back, my hands perfectly still. I printed the email chain, the property records, and the wire transfer. I placed them all in a single, thin, black folder. I called them. I said I wanted to reconcile. They were so relieved. Chloe picked a trendy, expensive restaurant, one I had apparently paid for. They were all there when I arrived, smiling, thinking I was there to surrender. I sat down. I didn't take off my coat. I didn't look at the menu. I just placed the black folder on the table. Chloe's smile froze. What's that? You wanted to talk, I said, my voice perfectly level. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to audit. My mother's face flushed. Maya, don't be dramatic. Open it, I said. My mother's hands trembled as she untied the string. She saw the first page, the notice of default. She fumbled to the next. The wire transfer. My father snatched it. Turning red. This is a family investment, he boomed. No, I said. It's fraud. Look at the last page. My mother flipped to the email chain. I watched her read Chloe's words. Then my father's. The silence was deafening. $75,000. I said quietly, you have 30 days to repay me. The full amount. If you don't, this folder goes to my attorney. Maya Susan shrieked. Chloe finally broke. Real tears, ruining her makeup. Please. Maya, don't you'll ruin me, my fiancé. I stood up. My chair scraped against the floor. I looked at my weeping sister. You wanted me to handle it. Chloe, I said, I'm handling it. I looked at all three of them, then asked Chloe to pay the bills. and I left. The collapse was immediate. I didn't have to sue. The bank foreclosed on the house. Chloe's condo was sold, her fiancé. Realizing the lifestyle he loved was built on my stolen money. Left her. I was packing my apartment, getting ready to move to Seattle for a new lead engineer job, $180,000 a year. My phone buzzed. A final, sobbing voicemail from Chloe. I have nothing. Please. I'm your sister. I stood there, and I felt it. That old, familiar, toxic sting of guilt. But then I thought about that email. She can handle it. I realized peace doesn't come from being loved by a system designed to drain you. Peace comes from being free of it. Guilt is just the last weapon they use to pull you back. I took a breath. My hand was steady. I deleted the voicemail. Then, I opened my laptop, found the family ledger XLXS file, and dragged it to the trash. For the first time in my life, the silence felt clean. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own peace? And don't forget to subscribe. More stories like this are coming.